Let's take a look at how to build your first form in Clarityflow. So I'm going to click Forms in the left side navigation menu over here. And if this is your first time creating a form, you will see you're prompted to create your very first form by clicking this large pink New Form button, or it is up here in the corner as well. So let's click that. And you're prompted right away to name your form. So let's say we're creating a client progress check-in, something that I'll send to my coaching clients somewhat regularly to ask them how they feel about their progress. Let's press create form. This takes you directly into the form builder where you're going to add, edit, customize all of your form fields to set up your form exactly the way that you want it. By default, Clarityflow is going to give you 3 fields in your form: first name, last name, and email address. But of course, you can remove, customize, add fields. This is all completely customizable to get your form the way you want it. In my case, for my client progress check-in, I'm going to leave the first name field and the email field. But since I'm actively working with these clients, I don't feel like I need to ask their last name. So I'm going to hover over this field, click Settings, Delete, and Confirm by pressing Really Delete to just get that form field right out of there. Now I'm ready to add some more fields to this form to check in with my clients on their progress. I'm going to press this Add a Field button. Clarityflow gives you many different options for the types of fields you can add to your form. There's text, rich text, file uploads, all sorts of different things. In this case, I'm going to select a text field. And the label is where you input your actual question or prompt people to submit the information you need. So I'm going to say, how do you feel about your coaching progress so far? Your field name is just an internal field for you to identify this. There can't be any spaces or things like that. I'm just going to shorten this. You don't have to. You can leave it like this. I'm going to shorten it to coaching progress. You can also input some helper text. That's like this, where you hover over this information label and people can get more information. Since this question is pretty straightforward, I don't really feel like I need helper text or description text that shows up under the question. I'm going to use a normal text input because I'm not asking people for an email or a URL. Placeholder text, I'll put I feel ... and I don't need a default value. Let's create that field and see what it looks like. So now we have this field added to our form. Let's add another one. Again, I think I'm going to opt for a text field for this one. And I'm going to say, what goals have you made meaningful progress on? We'll say goal or goals like this. And let's make this one required by pressing this toggle. Again, I don't feel like I need any helper or description text because it's fairly straightforward. Placeholder text, I'll say I have, and let's create that field. All right, so now we have first name, email, how do you feel about your coaching progress so far, with a field where clients can input their information, and then what goals have you made meaningful progress on. You can see the star indicating it's required, and again, clients can input their information there. Now let's try a different type of form field that isn't text. In this case, I'm going to select let's do radio buttons. Again, we'll make this required, and I'm going to ask people, do you feel coaching has been beneficial so far? We'll customize our field name again to coaching beneficial. This is just an internal identifier I can use. Again, I don't think I need helper text or description text, but just to give you an idea of what this looks like, I'll enter, tell me how you're feeling here in the description. Let's do radio buttons instead of a drop down. The first option for my radio button that will be automatically selected, we'll say yes, and our other option is no. You could also set that one as the default if you prefer. Let's create this field and see what it looks like. I see my question, I see my description, I see my radio buttons here. That looks good. Let's do one more form field here just for the sake of example. At the very end of my form, I'm going to add a static content block. So these are great for if you want to provide some additional information or things within your form. Maybe you want to include some context in between 2 questions. In this case, I'm just going to say, thanks so much for providing your feedback. I'm looking forward to continuing to work together. We'll create field, and that'll appear at the very end of our form. So I'm happy with the form fields that I've added here. I think these look good. These ask the questions that I want to ask. But you can also edit the form fields easily if you need to change something by hovering over the question, pressing settings and edit. That'll bring up that builder again where you can further customize your details. You can delete fields the same way, or you can move them around. So maybe I want to put this radio. Oh, I better edit this one so that it doesn't say select and says yes. Okay, now it says yes or no. And let's say I want this to be the first question after their name or email. I can press settings and then move up, and it'll bounce it up a spot. Let's do it one more time. And now I ask them first name, email, how do you feel about coaching, or has coaching been beneficial so far? And then these text questions and my thank you. So that's just a quick look at all the different ways that you can add or edit form fields and build your first form in Clarityflow.